السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. ربنا زدنا علما. اللهم فقهنا في الدين. آمين يا رب العالمين. This is Coach Binish. I am a life coach and I teach tafsir to different ages, teenagers and women. And inshallah, we're gonna have sessions of sessions that will cover different topics related to Quran, related to our daily life, and how we can incorporate the Quran in our daily lives, how we can connect with people, how we can convey the message to the people, how we can transfer the knowledge in action to our into our children, inshallah. So today's topic is Tarbiyyah, and we are going to learn what Tarbiyyah is and what it is not, because there are some misconceptions about it. Tarbiyyah is definitely not controlling someone. We all are mothers, most of my listeners are women. So either they are moms or they're going to be moms, inshallah. So under a mom's care, there are many lives that are growing. We're raising our children. So it's very important for us to understand how to raise them right. So the concept of tarbiyah is a very misunderstood concept. What we think of tarbiyah when we talk about tarbiyah, we think that it is to control somebody, or it is to repeatedly tell a child what to do. It is to make the child obedient and subservient to you as a parent because you want your children to listen to you, right? It is to um, force them, encourage them, insist on getting good grades, insisting on good behaviors, insisting on something. All of that is actually not tarbiyah. Tarbiyah is not training. Tarbiyah is not disciplining. Tarbiyah is not punishing. Tarbiyah is not scolding. Tarbiyah is not having to fight over something over and over again, or reminding your children of something over and over again. All of that is not tarbiyah. When real, actual tarbiyah happens, it actually helps a person find the path through which he or she finds the true purpose of their life. That's how a person finds the true purpose of his or her life. Tarbiyah is done so the right course of action becomes a child's personal choice. Okay? A child prays and studies the Quran or any other education. He speaks the truth, he's honest, he does the right things, he does the good deeds, not because he's scared of you, not because my mom told me to do that, not because my dad is going to be upset if I didn't pray, but because all of these actions are very dear to his or her heart. Is because all of these actions become their personal choices. It's because their connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with their creator, is so that they want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they don't want to upset Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is when the real tarbiyah is happening. So if you have to force or insist or fight over things repeatedly, then you need to understand that the real tarbiyah is not happening. So you need to learn what it is and how it's done. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So tarbiyah is directly connected to a person's heart. It affects the heart of a person. It affects the heart of a child. There is one thing that you know about the right and wrong, that you have the knowledge, you have the ilm about it. But is that enough? Knowing what's right and what's wrong, is that enough? It is not enough until that knowledge is put into action. That is why we make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us beneficial knowledge. And a beneficial knowledge is the knowledge that is put into action. So as long as that knowledge, that mountain of knowledge you have, you are not putting all of that into action, your tarbiyyah is not complete. The tarbiyyah actually didn't even happen. So gathering up the piles of knowledge is not tarbiyyah. Don't we all do things, the wrong things we already know are wrong? Is it possible that a person knows a lot, but they're still deprived of good tarbiyyah? This is very, very common. This happens all the time. And including ourselves, we do that. We do so many wrong things in our lives knowing they are wrong. We commonly see people smoking, even though they know it's injurious to health, even though they know that it can cause cancer. We have bad eating habits. We have bad lifestyle habits, that are affecting our lives every single day, but we continue to have those habits. We continue that path knowing that those are wrong paths. So is that enough, knowing that something is wrong, something is right? It's not enough. And that tells us when a person has knowledge, but it does not show in his or her actions, tells us that their tarbiyyah was not done correct. They still need tarbiyyah. So tarbiyyah is the matter of heart, is your heart. It's taqwa, basically. It's taqwa. It's the definition of taqwa. So what are the contents of tarbiyyah? A good tarbiyyah has 3 contents. It has to have these 3 things. It's very important. Without them, good tarbiyyah is not complete. The first content of good tarbiyyah is having pure intentions and decent wishes. So your intentions are pure, purity in your intentions, and decency in your wishes and your desires. The second point that has to be a part of tarbiyyah is self-accountability. Self-accountability, self-actualization, self-reflection that reaches its excellence. That's the height of self-accountability. You are constantly assessing yourself, you're constantly analyzing yourself, your thoughts, your actions, your wishes, your desires, your intentions. That is actually what's going to keep your intentions pure and your wishes decent. Okay? So, the third part of tarbiyyah is the heart. Having the heart that has the ability to shake, to melt, and all of what is inside you flows through your eyes. It flows out through your eyes. It is such a beautiful process of purification. This is the heart that is truly connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When the heart is truly connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that heart self-reflects that, and then the eyes of that person cries, then the tears flow out of the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when that kind of self-accountability is happening, then the intentions become pure, wishes and the desires become decent, and then your action changes. Everything changes. So this is what a good tarbiyah looks like. This is what you want to see in your children. We are mothers. We are the ones who are doing the most part of tarbiyah for our children. So this is what you need to see in your child to be sure that, okay, we're going on a good path. We're on the right track. Self-accountability, purity in intentions, and a heart that fears and loves Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it cries out of that. The eyes that cry out of it. Without a true tarbiyah, a meaningful life is impossible to achieve. Because when a heart is not thinking about all these three things we just mentioned, then there is no meaning to life. Then all what a person is doing is running the race. It's running the race of this dunya. Getting up in the morning, going to work, making money, coming back, eating, going to sleep, getting up again, and going to work. Same cycle over and over and over again. And that is not the purpose of our lives. We are way beyond that. We are way above that. That's a very, very small part of a life of the believer. We have a lot to do. We have a lot more important things to do in our life. So we have to incorporate these things in our tarbiyah. As a result, you should, if you are doing correct tarbiyah of your children, then these 3 points should be visible in them. Or this is something that you are teaching them or transferring into them. Okay? So now I'm going to give you a few action points. And these action points are going to transform your life along with your children's life. And that's going to go down to your generations. So you need to understand that these are very, very important action points that are going to leave an effect even after you're long gone. Because your children and their children and their children are going to benefit from this. So let's start. Action points. Action point number 1. Consider tarbiyah and tazkiyah your own need first. Before teaching all this to your child, you should be doing all these things yourself. The problem our children are facing is the reason why it's hard for them to listen to you or to do what you want them to do or to understand or to follow you is because they are seeing a lot of contradiction. They're seeing a person who's trying to scare them of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or who's trying to instill the fear of Allah in their hearts, but that person himself is not fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's a contradiction. the child is thinking this person is talking about hellfire. This person is talking about punishment. This person is talking about doing the good. This person is talking about Jannah. But I don't see that in their action. I don't connect the dots. I don't see them doing that. Why is this person telling me when they don't do it themselves? Think about it. If you don't want your child to burn in hellfire, is it okay for you to burn in the hellfire? Shouldn't you be the first one to worry about it for yourself more? So your child needs to see you worrying for yourself more than you worry for them. And that's how you're going to transfer it into their lives. And here I'm going to share an ayah from Surah Tahrim. Surah Tahrim, ayah number 6. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا قوا أنفسكم وأهلكم نارا وقودها الناس والحجارة عليها ملائكة غلاظ شداد لا يعصون الله ما أمرهم ويفعلون ما يؤمرون. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, O you, those who believe, save yourselves and your family from the fire, whose fuel are people and stones, and upon them are the angels, extreme angels, aggressive, angry angels, very strict angels are appointed who do not disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they do what is commanded to them. And I want us to focus on the first part of this ayah, which says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. So first, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us to save ourselves. Save yourself. And then your family. So if your child sees you worrying about the hellfire for yourself, you don't even have to teach them to worry, that they should worry. You know, it's just going to transfer. Seeing you will teach them. And that's how it's going to be more effective. That's how it's going to be become a part of their nature. They need to see a person who is connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They need you to tell them to make dua for you. That, oh my son, oh my daughter, pray for me. Pray for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive me. Pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive my sins and enter me in Jannah and protect me from the hellfire. Tell your kids to make dua for you. You know how we live our lives have an impact on people around us, and our kids just absorb everything. The way we live, the way we deal in different matters of our lives, the way we talk to people, the way we behave in certain situations, they are absorbing everything. Even if they're too young, you know, they're still observing you. So when they see a person who does not want to leave his or her salah, my mom she goes crazy if her salah is getting delayed. My mom prays salah on time. That's her priority. That's the stress of the day. That's the worry of the day. My mom reads the Quran. My mom studies the Quran. And she or my dad, whatever they teach us, whatever they tell us, is just the 10% of it. The 90%, they are worried about themselves. They're worried about doing those things. If I'm telling my child to speak the truth, I should be the one speaking the truth more than my child. I have to display, and not only to display just so that my child can learn it, but because these are actual worries. These are actual issues, because you are going to go in your grave and your child is going to go in his or her grave. And we all have to answer our actions for our actions. So self-accountability. If you are a person who's self-accountable, constantly checking your actions and your intentions and your thoughts and your desires, constantly talking about it, constantly reforming yourself, that's who your child is seeing. You don't even have to teach them anything. They're going to learn. They're going to learn by seeing everything happening around them. They're going to learn that. So that takes away like 60 or 70% of the work we do all day, just stressing on something which they don't take serious. And the moment they are away from our supervision, they don't follow upon it. They run away. They leave it. So we don't want to create individuals who are doing the good things just because of our fear. Just because my mom is going to get mad, I have to pray. No, I have to pray because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded me to pray. That is my responsibility. So we have to display this. So when tarbiyyah means we have to do our own tarbiyyah first before we do anyone else's tarbiyyah. We have to do our own tarbiyyah. So we have to find our teachers. We have to find our groups. We have to find a community that is going to support that. We have to find those people, right? So that's why we have to do our tarbiyyah before we can do anyone else's tarbiyyah, right? The second action point is talk about nafs. Educate yourself in the matter of nafs, how nafs affects us, how it sabotage our actions, our deeds, our intentions. So study that deeper, because a very important aspect of tarbiyah is the control on one's nafs. If you have a control over your nafs, half the battle is won, right? So learn about nafs, learn about the tricks and how the nafs fool us, how the nafs persuade us, how the nafs sabotage us, because it's not always shaitan, it's also our nafs. So we have to have a control over our nafs. Number 3 is putting our knowledge into action. Again, very important point. If we know a whole lot, but it does not show in our actions, it's not going to be effective. If I tell you to pray, and if I don't pray myself, and you can see that, you're not going to take my word serious. And that's exactly what our kids do. We tell them to do things we ourselves don't do. So they're like, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes away the effectiveness from our words because of our actions. If our actions are lacking, we have to have more actions than words. Okay, so that's going to bring your child into having the interest in what you have to say. You will become a credible person in their eyes. You have to. If you want them to trust you and believe you, you have to have that credibility, right? You have to be a person who does what they say, who walks, but not only talks, right? So you have to show more action. Teach them by your action. 4 is involve your children in your life. Share things with them, give them importance, ask them questions, take their suggestions. What should I cook today? What should I do today? How about this? What is your idea about life? Why do you think Allah created us? Or, just really daily life activities, daily life routine. Ask them, involve them, give them importance. And the final point I have is have discussions with your kids. Have sittings of self-reflection. Sit together as a family. Let them ask questions. Don't ever discourage any question. Don't ever push away any question. So let them ask questions. If you know the answer, good. If you don't know the answer, that's even better because you are going to now learn something new as well. You're going to study, you're going to find out the answer, and then it's going to add to your knowledge and your action. And that's when you're going to convey that answer to the kids. So a question which you don't know the answer of is even better. So encourage questions. How can you answer difficult questions? Educate yourself on that because your children are growing. And the moment we shut them away from their questions, the moment we discourage their questions, we push them away from us. And that's something you don't want to do. So never push the kids away because they will find their answers somehow. They're going to stop asking you. They're not going to stop looking for it. They're going to keep searching. And now we know that this is the time of social media. My kids come to me and give me Islamic knowledge from TikTok. They ask me something, they tell me the answer, and I say, yeah, that's correct. And then they say, you know where I got this from? And to my surprise, they are learning from TikTok. I'm lucky that they're coming and telling me. So if they are getting some wrong information, I can correct them, I can guide them. But a lot of our kids don't do that. A lot of our kids don't come to the parents and confirm their knowledge. They don't even go to the teachers and confirm the knowledge or the source of the knowledge. They don't do that. They need to also develop this habit of confirming things and not to believe right away. And that's going to happen if we don't discourage them from asking questions. So we have to encourage questions. We have to let our kids ask any kind of questions they have in their mind, even if it's a weird question, even if if it feels like something wrong, they shouldn't say. Do not discourage them. Let them ask. If you don't know the answer, just tell them that, I'm going to find out from someone. I'm going to find out and learn and then tell you. Direct them to the right sources. You should have people in your life where you can go to in learning, asking questions, or how to respond to certain questions our children have. Some questions are weird. Who created Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is he gonna die? Why can't we see him? I want to see him. All these kind of questions and more. We can't discourage them. We have to let them ask. All right, my friends. So this was it for today. I really hope and pray that we have benefited from this short talk, and give me a response. Let me know. Or you have any questions, do let me know. Inshallah, I'm going to try my best to answer your questions. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah give us the wisdom and the knowledge and the ability to do our tarbiyah and do the tarbiyah of our kids the right way, inshallah, and make us all people who have the true taqwa, inshallah. Ameen. I will let you go and take care of yourself. Inshallah, we'll see you again with another topic. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.